Can you hear me fine? Yeah. Hi. Welcome to our game development workshop. Let's go. Okay. Really simple. All we're going to do is make a painfully basic game where you shoot enemies that chase you. So that's all it is. It's in Godot, which is a very lightweight engine. I think the entire file size is 35 megabytes if you choose to download it now. And we're running on Godot 4.7 is what the game's made on, which we can display for you after how it works. And yeah, any questions already? Okay, everyone has the engine downloaded? Yeah, I hope so. Godot, yeah. Godot. Let me move to the next slide. Yeah, you could. Should be fine. Okay, as you can see, our assets are really basic. We have a QR code link for you guys to scan in case you need to download the same assets, or you can look for your own. I have resources shown on where to find assets, how to get licensing, what to look for when you're finding licensing, all of that. And yeah, if you can open your launcher, you will see. Oh, well, wait, first this. So the game's going to be really simple. We're going to move around with WASD. We're going to be able to shoot with our left mouse click, and the bullets will hit your enemy. Each bullet does 1 damage. Enemy has, we put as 3 health, so 3 shots kill an enemy, and the enemies just keep spawning in the game. So you have 10 enemies at any given time. Once one dies, another one spawns. Just keep running that. That's it. And that's all. Yeah. Okay. When you open it, it's really simple, right? So you will see where you can start a project, where you can import a pre-existing project, and if you have a whole list of projects, you can search through it, and you can also check community-made games and demos for you to go through if you go to your asset library. You do have to be connected to internet for that, but the rest of it should be fine. And yeah, really simple. Okay, if you create the game now, you will see this. Okay, this is gonna be. I've labeled everything so it's easier to explain. But you start off. Let's start off with the left, right? So in the start, you have your scene doc. It's where you're going to see all your scenes. If you have nodes for bullets, players, enemies, your map, whatever, right? Your tiles, anything. You will see that on where I've labeled 1, the box there, right? On 2 is where your file system rests. Usually when you start a game, you're going to create 3 folders. You will have your scripts, your scenes, and your sprites. Sprites are PNG images that will have your character, basically. Wherever the enemy is, whatever the floor is, a picture of that. And your scripts, obviously your code, whatever you write. If you aren't experienced with code, it's fine. GDScript is painfully simple. It's readable, and if you've done any amount of code in the past, easiest thing to read, right? That's basically all that's there for your file system. You can import things directly by dragging into it, so it makes it easier, obviously. But yeah. Third is the main thing. So this is your viewport. It's where you're going to see your game. In this view, it's on the 3D view. We're making a 2D game, so you can actually click the 2D thing up there where you see next to 6, and that will switch it to a flat view. All your interaction with your objects is there. You can move them around, place them in the right spot, animate them later, but we don't have any animation in this, but it's possible if you plan on making a platformer or moving objects, whatever it may be, right? Next is your inspector. So your inspector is actually probably one of the more important things. As soon as you click on a node, it will give you a list of options. So you have what physics is enabled, what the texture is, what n number of things, right? Size, scale, position. You will see it eventually, but yeah, that's your inspector. It's going to be where you're going to edit most of your properties. In the case of you enabling some type of physics, after you add your node to it, you can change the physics, change values, whatever, right? Pretty simple. Hello. It's fine. Now, the bottom will actually, you can pull that up, and primarily that will be your debugger and your output for your terminal, right? As soon as you run code, anytime you want to test functionality, you will print a line. When you print your line, that will show up in your output. If you have an error in your code, that will show up in your debugger, right? You will have this information to, well, fuck around with it, right? Do whatever. Next is your workspaces, which is the thing I told you up there. We're not going to touch the 3D thing because it's a 2D game. Script is where you actually see all your code and where you can edit your code. It's actually really nice compared to Unity and things like that. Like Unity will run into VS Code immediately, but this has an inbuilt editor, and it's pretty nice actually. So same thing, you can access your game to actually play the game, and you have your asset library again. Last thing is just your play controls, where, well, you just play your game. That's all it is. Yeah. Okay. Now this is an important thing, right? One of the main issues with making a game is art. You do need something to be your character, something to be whatever. And a key issue is licensing. If you do want to actually publish this game, no matter where you're publishing it, you have to look at what the licensing is. You have to know whether it's free to use. Do you have to credit the person? Are you allowed to share it? Are you allowed to edit it? Whatever it may be, right? This is our general thing. This is the main licenses you will see everywhere. And I'll show you sites where you can find, well, usually CC0 or CC BY licenses. So the main thing is for C0, it's in, right? You can use it, change it, publish it, get paid for it. If you have to publish a game, you can make money, whatever you want with it with no credit. The artist does not care if you credit them, if you don't credit them. Obviously, nicer if you credit someone, but you don't have to. CC BY is where you have to credit the creator. You can edit it, change it, no matter how much you edit it. If you're using their sprite, always credit. Always just say it was by this person, whatever it is in your game credits. As long as you mention it, you can use it, sell it, whatever you please, right? No issues there. Your next is CC BY SA. So in this case, anytime so let's say you take a model, you edit this model and you choose to share it as your own, it has to be shared under the same license. You cannot share it on your own license. It has to be said that this is a CC BY share from this person, and anyone who proceeds to edit it from yours will also do the same. So that has to be mentioned, which you don't have to do for the others. CC BY NC is don't sell the game. If it's free, it's fine. You aren't allowed to make any money from it. You aren't allowed to do anything with it other than get it for free and play it for yourself. There's no commercial usage available, no matter what you do. Custom is if they have, oh, you have to message me, do this, do that, well, whatever, right? It's based on the artist's discretion. But generally, you'll see the top 4, and usually most of the assets you'll find that I'm showing you would be the first 2. So should be less annoying. Simply put, just anytime you take an asset that has any of these, write down who made it, where you got it from, what the version of the license is important because they change every so often. And there's the way you word credit usually. And anytime you get an asset, they will actually tell you how they want you to credit them. In the case of like, oh, it's just this art was made by Easy, right? And yeah, that you can find, actually this is important, you can find these licenses usually either on the download page, or when you download an asset pack, it will have a README, a license, something in there, and you will have to check that to get whether it's allowed, whatever. And yeah, you can go next. This is where you find sprites. So the QR code scans to the drive link. It's the sprites we used on the game we're going to display, and you can either you could type the code to the link, or you can scan it. It's up to you. I had no idea how to share it otherwise, but so these are really nice sprite libraries. So Kenny is completely free. Anything you get on there, completely free, and it's completely free to use. You don't have to credit it. There's some files that do require crediting, I think, but usually all of them are empty as well, and you can take them, right? Do whatever. HIO, each creator has, well, everyone knows HIO. You can publish your games there too, but each creator has his own detailed thing of how you want to publish it, how you want to be credited, whatever it is. So that's a little more go in depth, look through what they're saying, read their license, and then choose to use it. Open Game Art is similar to HIO, but it's an older website. Same thing, tons of sprite packs and tile maps and stuff like that published. I don't think we're going to explain tile maps, but it doesn't matter. You just look for crediting. Usually it's free, and they will have the notice with the version. It's actually really comprehensive in the way it shows the version. So yeah, feel free to scan it if you want the assets right now, or look for your own if you'd like. Looking for assets is a little annoying because you have to scale it and do a bunch of stuff and change direction, whatever. So it's easier to just scan it or whatever. So once you're done, let me know. Yes. Okay. Quick explanation of how Godot works. If you have experience with Unity or anything of that sort, it isn't exactly the same, but it's a lot simpler. Godot works, well, this is an explanation, but Godot works usually with nodes and trees, right? Imagine your game as a massive tree. Everything goes under it, and you can layer them. So if you have, let's say you have a player node, you take your camera node, put it under the player. Now this camera will permanently track the player. It's really simple in terms of adding things to add functionality. And it's really simple to track overall because it's a very clean way to look at what's linked to what, where you find things. It is sometimes a little, so there's one issue which I think I looked at because I recently started with Godot, but scenes, they're separate. So you have two separate complete scenes and two separate nodes for it. If you do want them to interact, you have to use something called emits, and they send signals out, and you can read those. So it's a little weird, but once you understand it, it's fine. I don't think we're going to get too far into that today, but it should be fine. Yeah, inheritance is a little shit for Godot, and it's easier to use composition where you're using the same function multiple times than inheriting your fucking child class and whatever, right? But this is one. I don't think it's gonna matter much for now. The code is really simple for this one, and yeah. Yes. Wait. You just add. Yeah. Yeah, you have to type something first, right? Yeah. Yeah. So you type down the action you want. In our case, it's move right, move left, move up, move down, and you link whatever buttons you want. It's up to you. If you don't want to use WASD, you use whatever arrow keys. Yeah. It makes it easier to use when you're coding because you can just call move right, and it will know the button presses A. So it makes it a little easier. We can get started with making our player now, actually. Yeah. So on the left on your scene, like the scene doc that I showed you initially, right? You can press the plus icon, so just press follow, and you can. No, so on the scene, just go to the left. 1 second. Let me just do this, right?
Oh, that one.
We'll show them how. I see. Or you can do Control A, I think is the shortcut. You can add a CharacterBody2D right there. So that will give you a movable player that you can control. It's actually a default script, I think, that Godot gives you so you don't actually have to code for the movement. But yeah, you can add your character body. It's already made for us, so we aren't going to. But that's how we will get started. Past that, we're going to add a collision shape to the character body node. So we're going to click the character body, select it, and then when you add another one, it'll let you add it underneath it. And you're going to want to shape your collision to be a little smaller than your sprite usually, like slightly smaller, because it's more frustrating to have something hit you when it isn't touching your body. And something will miss you if it is, right? But so just go slightly smaller than your thing. Oh, I probably have to add the sprite first. Hey, anyone else need help? Yes? Okay. Oh, never mind. Okay. I'll do a quick recap of what we've done so far. All I'm expecting for you guys to have right now is on your file system, you should have the assets, and you should have a character body and a collision shape. That's it. So that's all you need for now. We're going to start from that. I will explain how to add your animated sprite to it and blah, blah, blah. I might, yeah. Huh? I need to show, can you do the animated sprite thing? We just add it and show how it's done.
Yeah.
So show them how to add it, and then because we have to select the pixel. Yeah, add a new one for the same thing. Yeah. Kind of. All right. This is how. Just pay attention now, because you're gonna have to look at how you add an animated sprite to this. Because our character isn't a still box; he moves like a little to make him look a little cool. So, really simple. You're adding another node to it, which is your animated sprite 2D. It will now let you pick sprite frames for your animation, and that is what we will do. So in your assets that you got, that you should have been more imported, I'm pretty sure, you will have all 4 PNGs for your animation. You can select all of them, add them to your frame, and it will let you pick how fast it's going to loop through this as well. So if you want him to look really stupid, you can make it really fast. But I think we've picked 5 frames per second for our loop, basically. But yeah, Should be pretty easy to quickly do this. Okay, what we're going to start with now is making the first script to guide movement, right? Now, when you right-click your character body, you can see attach script. If you can see that, click on it. Right-click your character body, and it'll show attach script. Click that. And now it will let you choose where to store your scripts. For now, just save it wherever, and then we will make a scripts folder and keep all our scripts organized there. The last thing you want is messy file systems and pain in the ass. I think when you make a character body script, it should let you auto-generate the code, right?
It
didn't prompt it. Yeah, built-in script. And
you have to click
we
that,
do
yeah.
that.
It didn't auto-generate. It's because they have the same name, I think.
Oh, you're so right. We just get rid of that. It should let you auto-generate a script, and that can actually do all the work for you. You have the script, yeah. So you already have it generated, so you don't actually have to do any code. Okay. Just empty the file. We're gonna just write the code ourselves because it's easier. So yeah, just do everything. Keep the extents, yeah. Keep the extents too. Sorry. Keep the top thing closer to my mouth. Okay. Yeah, just keep it like that for now. I will. So we're going to ignore everything on this page other than the physics processes, right? That's the only thing I'm going to focus on for now. I will alt-tab into the presentation. So this is the code. This is all you're going to write. I can explain line by line if that helps. Yes. Okay. So we're using function underscore physics process, right? This is particular to Godot. Every function, there's some pretty functions that if they have an underscore before it, it will call every frame. Every frame that the game runs, it will call this function. This is how you make sure that if you've used Unity before, there's like a update. Like when you do function update, whatever's in that gets every time. This is the same thing, but in Godot, it doesn't do a function update. It specifies what it's used for. So every physics tick, this will update, and that's what we want. So we use delta float just to get the value. Float is the same as integer. If you've done any programming, it's just an integer with decimals. That's all. Delta, okay, delta is hard to explain. Delta is usually we do, if you've used any program, any game thing, you'll use delta time, which does it based on seconds. Delta is a little different where it's the gap between each frame. How do I explain this? Let's say, for example, you're running 60 FPS. There's whatever the gap between each frame is, that's your delta. If the game is set to run at 60 and you go below down to 30, it will actually run twice per frame to match that. And that's basically what delta does. Ignore the rest of it. I can't, how do I explain this properly? How would you explain delta? Other than, yeah, it multiplies it for you. That it calculates frame time and matches whatever the goal is. So frame one, like you run a movie at 24 FPS, the time between frame 1 to frame 2, frame 2 to frame 3, onwards. That's what we consider frame time. And it does that calculation for you, so you don't have to. It makes it a bit easier. But after that, simple, right? We're going to do, yeah, just copy that if you want. It's the same thing, but yeah. We do variable direction. So we're declaring our variable called direction. We're getting our vector, which is the direction coming from the input we mapped. So you move right, move left, all that. It will take those directions. And all we're doing now is, good God. So did you change it? Okay. All we're going to do is we're going to add velocity, which is going to be our base speed. We haven't declared speed yet. I'll just declare it above after, but it'll be, we've set speed to I think 300 in our case. You can change speed to an integer if you want, so like 300, 200, whatever, and multiply that with the direction you're moving. And now let me quickly move back and I'll show you. All right. So you see constant speed float 300.0. That just declare that on top. Yeah. We're just going to declare the variable first. It's easier to have a constant because you can change it whenever you want, and it's on the top of your code, so easy to change whatever. Move and slide is an inbuilt function that lets you use velocity, and that just makes things easier for us. So really quick explanation, right? It will move based on velocity, and it will check. So imagine a slip and slide where if you were to hit someone, you would slide off them a little. It does that for you, especially when you're interacting with enemies or objects, right? It will, if I'm Wing into a box, but I'm slightly angled, it'll slowly push me into the angle, like that kind of thing. Yeah. Nice to have this stuff inbuilt because of the pain. But yeah. Once you do this, you can actually test your game, and it should let you move your character around. As long as you've attached it to the right thing. You have to hit play. This is correct. You're saving the scene, I think. Yeah. You need to save your scene. So rename that as player. Once you try running, it'll prompt you to save the player as a scene, and you should save it in a folder called scene, right? So to start with, under your character body 2D, we're gonna add a regular node. So when you right click to add node, just the node. That, yep, just the node, like the basic node thingy. Let me, yeah, this thingy. Where, yes, just this simple thing. Just click this and click create. All you have to do. Good. Everyone has to do it. All right. Once you add this, let me know as well. We can continue.